My name is Amy Rice, and my senior project is Beautification, a cultural and ecological reclamation. My project site is located in Butte, Montana, along the western face of the Rocky Mountains in southwestern Montana. Butte has a rich cultural heritage rooted in its legacy as the most profitable mining city of the early 1900s. Much of Butte's history is evident in the existing city layout and surrounding landscape, especially at the project site in North Butte. Initially discovered for gold and silver deposits, Butte was established as a metropolis of the West by the turn of the century, made wealthy by the copper mining business. Known as the richest hill on Earth, the Anaconda Copper Company's mines in Butte were the largest producing copper mines in the world from 1892 to 1903. The highly successful underground mining industry created a vast amount of infrastructure on the land, totaling in over 10,000 miles of underground tunnels by the end of the underground mining operations in 1975. Pollution of the air, water, and soil became increasingly damaging to the region, especially when the era of open-pit mining began in 1955. Open-pit copper mining occurred most notably at the Berkeley Pit, but also at several other locations, mostly to the north and east of the city. The Berkeley Pit remains as a huge crater that dominates the Butte landscape, and has since filled with highly acidic and heavy metal-laden water to a depth of over 1,000 feet. Mining has had negative effects on the culture of Butte as well. Several whole neighborhoods were buried for the expansion of the Berkeley Pit, with their residents forced to move and rebuild. In 1994, the EPA added the Butte Mine Flooding Operable Unit to a large chain of Superfund sites along the North Clark Fork River. The establishment of the Silverbow Creek Butte Area Superfund site has set standards for cleanup of the widespread environmental damage, and the Horseshoe Bend Water Treatment Plant will begin cleaning Berkeley Pit water in about 10 years. I conducted a site analysis to examine circulation of both cars, seen in blue, and pedestrians, seen in purple. I also looked at the locations of important site features and their relationship to the existing trail system, land use, and important viewsheds. Topography was a key focus of the site analysis, as much of the town is situated on a north-south slope and is bordered by extremely altered landforms because of the mining operations. The existing topography provides opportunities for capturing views of the city and the surrounding mountainous landscape. The severe slopes are also a challenge for revegetation, as slope stabilization will be an important design factor. In my analysis, I identified several landmark locations throughout the site that need stronger connections. First is the Granite Mountain Miners Memorial in the north of the site, which has no trail access but is a very important local cultural space. The Lexington Mine Yard in Uptown Butte boasts gardens styled after the displays of the former Columbia Gardens, but the trail that reaches this site dead ends just to the west of the yard. The Missoula Mine Yard is a large open area with an existing trail running through it and offers the opportunity for reuse by the community and stronger connections to other city open space. The Mount Con Mine Yard lies at the heart of the project site, but is only bordered by existing trails instead of being incorporated. Historic structures offer opportunities for preservation or reuse as civic amenities. The Stewart Mine Yard is also central to the site and contains historic mining buildings and infrastructure, but lacks connection to the existing trail network. The original mine yard has already been used for civic events, notably as the main stage during the National Folk Festival. This site would also benefit the community if connected with pedestrian trails. Kelly Mine Yard is a large area along the west side of the Berkeley Pit, and its location influences circulation connections between the northern and southern portions of the site. The Belmont Mine Yard has a historic structure currently being reused as the Belmont Senior Center, so connections to this site will benefit many local residents and patrons of the center. Finally, the Berkeley Pit Visitor Center at the south of the project site is an important educational space that should be better connected to facilitate visitors' access and enjoyment of other Butte historic sites. The City of Butte's open space plan delineates a quarter-mile walking access to its open space areas, seen in blue. The area just west of the Berkeley Pit is noticeably lacking in pedestrian connections and access. To set a foundation for my design explorations, I developed an abstract of project goals, including connection of local historic sites, interpretation of local history, and ecological restoration and education. My conceptual work focused on three concepts: community, history, and ecology. The first concept, civic amenities, explores options for providing the most comfortable pedestrian experience while connecting all of the important site features. Reuse of historic buildings on the mine yards will provide new community space. A highly designed trail network would provide shelter from the elements and spaces to stop and enjoy views throughout the site. I feel the successes in the civic amenities concept are the creation of spaces to enjoy viewsheds and clear circulation routes. Areas that need work on this concept are developing clarity of activities for the site and improved definition of building reuse. The second concept, historic preservation, examines the opportunities provided by the presence of many historic landmarks and spaces throughout the site. Restoration of buildings on the mine yards will allow better public access to these sites for educational opportunities. An open multi-use trail will connect these sites and encourage interaction between residents and the landscape history. Successes in the historic preservation concept are the connection of historic spaces and the choices provided for pedestrian routes. Areas of this concept that need improvement are goals of the education aspect and historic space designation. The third concept, ecological restoration, studies the use of revegetation to repair the landscape destroyed by mining. Connections with an open trail will be minimally disturbing to the landscape so that the focus will be on the environmental healing of the site. The site's topography and native ecosystem will be the driving influences behind this design. Successes in the ecological restoration concept are the use of native plant communities and the relationship of the design of the landscape. Areas of the concept that need improvement are accessibility and temporal changes of the site. The ideas I would like to incorporate in my design from the first concept are the reuse of historic structures for community spaces and a sheltered trail design. For my second concept, I would like to use the incorporation of educational opportunities. For my third concept, I would like to use the incorporation of native plant communities. With these ideas in mind, I will move forward with my design successfully. Thank you for your time.